the ghost of the abandoned road. In the vast desert of Nevada lies Dust Road 66, a desolate stretch of highway cutting through an endless wasteland. For decades, locals have whispered tales of a ghost known as the Bride of the Road, a spectral figure who appears at night, causing deadly accidents for anyone who encounters her. Over the years, the legend has only grown more terrifying and mysterious. Characters Michael Wright, a young and ambitious journalist working for an investigative magazine, Laura Davis, a psychologist specializing in paranormal phenomena, John Miller, a seasoned truck driver who survived an encounter with the ghost, Sam Harris, a local mechanic who believes everything can be explained logically. One hot morning, Michael was browsing the internet, searching for an exciting story for his magazine. His eyes fell on a report about a series of mysterious accidents on Dust Road 66. The reports all mentioned that victims claimed to have seen a mysterious woman moments before their tragic ends. "This is it," Michael exclaimed excitedly, and immediately called Laura, who was always fascinated by paranormal stories. "Have you heard of this deserted road in Nevada?" "Yes, they say it's haunted by a bride seeking revenge." "Let's go investigate." Meeting the locals. Upon arriving at the small town near the road, the duo met John Miller in an old diner. John was an aging man, his weathered face hiding an unspoken terror. "You really want to go to that road?" John asked, his trembling hands clutching a coffee mug. "We want to find the truth," Michael replied. "The truth? If you go there, you won't come back the same. I saw her once, and I survived by sheer luck." John then recounted his chilling experience. 5 years ago, I was driving my truck late at night. The road was pitch black, the sky moonless. Suddenly, I saw her. She was standing in the middle of the road, wearing a torn wedding dress, her hair covering her face. I slammed on the brakes, but she disappeared. Moments later, I felt something move inside my truck. The door flew open on its own, as if an invisible force was trying to drag me out. I still have nightmares about her. Uncovering the truth. After hearing John's story, Michael and Laura began digging into the town's archives. They found reports of an old incident from the 1960s. Elizabeth Carner, a young bride-to-be, was on her way to her wedding when her car crashed on Dust Road 66. Her tire burst, causing the vehicle to overturn. She was trapped inside the wreckage for hours, screaming for help, but no one came. She died before rescuers could reach her. If her spirit is still trapped there, she must have a message, Laura speculated. Or she just wants revenge, Michael replied. First encounter on the road. The duo decided to drive down the road at night. They rented a truck, equipped it with cameras and recording devices, and set out at sunset. As darkness fell, a thick fog began to roll in, covering the road in an eerie blanket. "Is this normal?" Michael asked. "Fog in the desert?" "Not really," Laura replied. As visibility worsened, the truck suddenly stalled, the engine cutting out without explanation. "Is it a mechanical failure?" Michael asked. "I don't know. Everything seems fine," Laura shouted as she tried to restart the engine. Suddenly, Elizabeth appeared. She stood just a few yards away, her glowing red eyes piercing through the fog. Slowly, she began walking toward them. "Don't move," Laura whispered. But Michael, driven by curiosity, pulled out his camera to take a picture. As he pressed the shutter, Elizabeth let out a bone-chilling scream, shattering the camera lens. The escalation. The pair returned to town, shaken. But from that moment, strange things began happening to them. Michael started hearing whispers at night. Laura began seeing Elizabeth's face in the mirror every time she looked at it. Lights flickered in their home, and doors opened and closed by themselves. "I think she followed us," Laura said, trembling. "We have to go back. We can't run from this," Michael decided. Michael and Laura enlisted John and Sam to return to the road. They planned to summon Elizabeth's spirit using specialized equipment, hoping to uncover what she truly wanted. At midnight, they stood in the middle of the road and began their ritual. The fog returned, thicker than ever, enveloping them completely. Elizabeth appeared once more, but this time she wasn't alone. Shadows of other victims materialized behind her, as if they were her eternal entourage. "What do you want?" Laura screamed. "Why did you leave me?" Elizabeth's voice echoed from all directions, haunting and filled with pain. Suddenly, a violent wind erupted, shattering their equipment. Elizabeth approached John, who dropped to his knees in terror. "I'm sorry, I couldn't save you," he cried. In a moment of desperation, Michael lunged toward Elizabeth, placing a cross he wore around her neck. She let out a deafening scream before vanishing along with the fog. When they regained their senses, the road was quiet. The fog was gone, but John was missing. Weeks later, John's truck was found wrecked on Dust Road 66. His body was never recovered, but a single photo remained on his camera. Elizabeth standing behind him with a sinister smile. The curse was far from over. The road still waited for its next victim,